Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing my SummerSlam 2025 predictions, which is tonight and tomorrow night. For the first time ever, it's spanning over 2 nights. So I think there's 6 matches on the card for both nights, 6 matches each night. I do have my boss's dog here. I'm looking after her and her brother, I think until tomorrow. So she'll probably be here for most of the video, if not all of it. But anyway, I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm going to start off with SummerSlam Saturday, which is obviously tonight. So these matches aren't in order. I just got them off Wikipedia. I don't know what match is first, what match is last. I do have to work tonight, so I'm going to try my absolute hardest not to look at any spoilers. I think the show starts at 7:30, so I think around 7:30 or shortly after that, I'll turn off my internet, and I will not look at no Facebook or anything until after the show. When I get home from work, I get off at 10. So when I get home from work, I'm not even going to take my phone upstairs with me to watch it because I'm watching it upstairs with Mom. I'm going to walk into my house after work, bring my phone downstairs and plug it in, and I'm not touching it the rest of the show. So I'm going to try my absolute hardest to avoid any and all spoilers. So like I said, 7:30, that's when it starts for me, where I'm from. 7:30 or shortly after, I'm going to turn off the internet, and I'm not going to look at no Facebook or anything. If I want to take a break at work and like be on my phone for a few minutes, I'll just play a game or something. But yeah, I don't usually take breaks at work anymore, so I probably won't even be on my phone much, especially after 7:30. So, but yeah, anyway, I'm gonna try. Like I said, I'm gonna try to avoid any and all spoilers. So when I'm watching shows like this, I do like to be surprised. For some reason, I'm not like that with Raw or SmackDown. Like, I can go to work and like look at Facebook on my way home, and I could see like, oh, this person won the title on a regular episode of SmackDown. I don't mind seeing stuff like that, but any like pay-per-views or PLEs, I guess you could call them now. PLEs like SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Night of Champions, whatever. I always, like, if I'm working, I turn off my internet so I don't see any spoilers. I don't want to be spoiled during shows like that. I like to be surprised and see what happens, like, in person. Or not in person, but live while I'm watching it for the first time. So, like, I don't like going on Facebook and seeing, like, oh, for example, I'm going to talk about Jade versus Tiffany first, by the way. I don't want to, like, go on Facebook on my way home from work and see like, oh, Jade Cargill is a new women's champion. She defeated Tiffany Stratton tonight. And then go home and watch it, and I already know what happened. So I like to be surprised, especially if it's a bigger show too. Like WrestleMania and SummerSlam are like the biggest shows, and I feel like Royal Rumble is too. But WrestleMania and SummerSlam, usually there's like a couple of returns or some debuts or whatever, a bunch of surprises where they're like the bigger shows. So especially for that reason, I'm gonna, like I said, turn off my internet at 7:30, and I'm not even gonna look at Facebook any social media until after the show. So I'm done rambling. I'm just going to jump into my predictions. The first match I'm going to talk about, like I said, not in order, is Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship. I'm gonna go with Jade Cargill. I was kind of going back and forth with most of these matches for SummerSlam. But these are my predictions. This is what's staying. I'm not changing any. I wrote this on my blog earlier, by the way, so it's already up. But obviously, you guys probably already know this. I always like to post a blog plus a YouTube video with all my predictions. So, anyway, like I said, I'm going to go with Jade Cargill. She looks like a star. She executes specific moves in the ring like she's a star. And she is. She has the aura and charisma you want in a champion. She has potential to be the face of the women's division, but it's been more than a year and a half since her debut at the Royal Rumble last year in 2024, and this is the first time she's felt like a legitimate threat to win a singles championship. She won Queen of the Ring. She's been beating everyone she's put in the ring with for months, usually in pretty dominating fashion. If WWE is going to use her and like pull the trigger on her, now feels like the moment. The next match is Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. I think Randy Orton and Jelly Roll are going to win because celebrities don't wrestle very often in WWE. And when they do, it's usually at a bigger show like WrestleMania or SummerSlam. And they usually win, so I don't think this is going to be any different. The next match is Gunther vs. CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. As much as I would like to see CM Punk win, I'm going to go with Gunther because it will be nice to see him win on a big stage like this. He's lost at the last 2 WrestleManias. So honestly, he kind of needs this win after losing to Sami Zayn last year at WrestleMania and losing the title to Jey Uso this year at WrestleMania. I mean, yeah, he got the title back, which is great for him, but after losing at the last 2 WrestleManias, he needs this win, I think. So, I'm going to go with Gunther. But don't get me wrong, I would love to see CM Punk win the title. I think that'd be great. So, anyway, the next match is the Judgment Day's Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss for the women's tag team titles. I think Charlotte and Alexa are going to win because since they're a new tag team, I feel like a lot of people aren't expecting them to win. You could also fantasy book this team in a bunch of different ways. Because I know a bunch of fans. I don't usually do it, but I know a bunch of WWE fans do like this fantasy booking, especially on Instagram and like YouTube and stuff. I watch a lot of those. They'll like, and even on TikTok too, they'll like fantasy book tag team, or I remember watching one a couple weeks ago. It was, or like the other day, it was, or something. It was fantasy booking Liv Morgan's return. So, and I think they said their fantasy booking had Liv Morgan return at SummerSlam and cost Raquel and Roxanne the titles, or cost them the match and leave the Judgment Day. So I would actually kind of like that. And also reunite Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, or Liv for Brutality, I think they were called. But yeah, you could fantasy book this team, Alexa and Charlotte, in a bunch of different ways. They could be together for a year, a few months, or maybe they could be like Bayley and Lyra, or Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. They won the titles at WrestleMania. I said oh yeah, well yeah, okay. English. They won the titles. Becky Lynch and Lyra won the titles at WrestleMania, and then they fought. Who was it? The Judgment Day. Raquel and Roxanne, was it? At Raw, or they won the titles at WrestleMania, and they lost the titles the next night on Raw, on the first defense. And then Becky turned heel. So maybe they could do it that way. And have Alexa and Charlotte win the titles at, is it tonight they're wrestling? Yes, tonight. And then their first defense lose the titles, and then Charlotte or Alexa, whoever, turn heel. So they could only last like a week or till like their first defense. But either way, I think the next step in their story is winning the tag team titles, because I watched SmackDown. Well, I wasn't home to watch it last night, but I watched it this morning while I was working on this blog, and I saw the segment, or the interview, I think, with Kathy and Charlotte and Alexa. And Kathy was saying, like, I think this is definitely more than just a tag team. I think you guys are best friends. And Charlotte was like, no, maybe. So I think they could win the titles tonight and then hug and be like, we're best friends. We're besties, you know? But yeah, having them win the tag team titles would make whatever comes later, like their breakup and stuff, more impactful. The next match is Jey Uso and Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. I think Braun and Bronson are going to win. I was really flip-flopping between the two teams as well with this match. But I think Braun and Bronson are going to win because WWE clearly sees a huge future for them. They were put into a faction with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, I mean. The last faction that Paul Heyman was with, the Bloodline, were huge. They still are huge. Like, now they have freaking Bloodline 2.0. So they're huge. So, yeah, they were put into a faction with Seth Rollins after WrestleMania, and even after Seth got hurt, they've been pushed just as hard. We're meant to see them as the future of the company, and there will be no better way to signal that the future is here than by beating Roman Reigns on a big stage like SummerSlam. The next match is Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. I think Sami Zayn is going to win because Kross has been telling Sami for months that he needs to get to the next level and become the bad guy. I think that beating Karrion will be a good way to do that. So that's it for SummerSlam Saturday tonight. Now on to tomorrow, SummerSlam Sunday. The first match for tomorrow night, again, not in order. I don't know, like I said, I don't know what order these are in. Is Rhea Ripley versus Naomi versus Io Sky for the Women's World Championship. I think Naomi is going to win simply because she just won the title a couple of weeks ago and won it by cash-in. So I'll be very surprised if she lost the title this soon. Speaking of Becky and Lyra, they're the next match. Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I think Becky is going to win, and I feel like this feud is almost coming to an end. Almost. Maybe. I don't know. But, like I said, I think Becky is going to win because the Intercontinental Championship, well, for the women anyway, has been solely focused on Becky, Lyra, and Bayley since WrestleMania. And that was back in April. So, while I do love this storyline, and I love all three women in the title picture, and I love all three women in general, I think some people might be getting a bit tired of it. I mean, it's been going on for like 4 or 5, almost 4 months, really. Some people might want to see like fresh faces in this storyline and in this title picture. So if Lyra wins, it'll just be stuck in the same loop. Like Lyra would win, then Becky would be like, "I want my title back," and it was kind of be like a repeat with like the Charlotte versus Sasha in 2016, where Sasha Banks had the women's title for like 20-30 days, then she lost it to Charlotte, and then Sasha got it back. And it was literally like that from the summer of 2016. I remember the exact date, July 25th, I'm pretty sure, right until literally December 2016. So that's literally over half of the year, isn't it? Or half on the money. But yeah, July to December, that's like 5 months. So it's not quite half the year, but it's close enough. So yeah, I feel like a lot of people wouldn't want to see a repeat of that. Because even back when the Charlotte versus Sasha for the women's title thing was going on, that whole feud, people were getting really sick of it, constantly going back and forth. Like, one person had the title for like 20 days, then it was the next person, and it kept going back and forth with the same two people, changing hands like more than 5 times every 20 days, really. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people get sick of it, and maybe might be the same way with the women's intercontinental title picture with Becky, Lyra, and Bayley. The next match is Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship inside of a steel cage. I think Solo is going to win because regardless of it being a steel cage match, usually WWE has a steel cage match, so people wouldn't, from the outside, wouldn't get involved. But that still doesn't stop them half the time. Because, like, to win a steel cage match, you have to leave the cage, whether it's through the door or climbing over it with both feet hitting the floor, or by pinfall or submission inside the cage, like inside the ring. So they make it like that so people wouldn't get involved, but that doesn't stop anybody. I've seen steel cage matches where people from the outside would come in, like literally open the door and crawl into the ring to help them. So, yeah. Regardless of it being a steel cage match, Tala Tonga, JC Mateo, and Tongaloa, Solo's buddies, are more than likely going to get involved. Jacob only has Jimmy Uso by his side, or in his corner, so unless someone else is going to come out, like debut or return or something, and help Jacob, or Tama Tonga returns inside with Jacob and turns face, I don't see Jacob winning. I would love it, but I don't think he'll win. I think Solo will win. The next match is Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship. I think Dominic is going to win because he's been trying to avoid this match for the past few weeks by faking an injury. I think he was faking. I do think this is going to be the last time we will. I don't think this is going to be the last time we will see this match. So I'm expecting kind of a sketchy finish. So maybe a DQ, or Dominic could roll AJ into a pin and hold on to the ropes, or he could have some help from the Judgment Day. I just don't see AJ winning the title yet. Maybe someday soon, but definitely not tomorrow night. But yeah, like I said, I feel like Dominic was faking this injury. Maybe it might have been like real towards like at the beginning of the injury when it first happened, and then just faked it after. But I don't know. I think I'm pretty sure he was faking. The next match is a TLC match for the tag team titles. The teams in this match are DIY, which is Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, Andrade and Rey Fenix, Motor City Machine Guns, which is Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, Fraxium, which is Axiom and Nathan Fraser, Wyatt Six, which is Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis, and the Street Profits, which is Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. First of all, I'm expecting to see some extremely high athleticism moves and some WTF moments, especially from Rey Fenix and Andrade. They are incredible, especially Rey Fenix. Like, have you guys seen him? Insane. As for my prediction, I'm going to go with the Wyatt Six. I was thinking about Andrade and Rey Fenix, where they're like a newer tag team and some people aren't expecting them to win, kind of like with Alexa and Charlotte. But I'm going to go with the Wyatt Six. They're an extremely dominant faction, and they haven't had many title defenses yet, so I'm expecting them to have kind of a lengthy title reign. And the final match of SummerSlam weekend is John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship in a street fight. For those of you who didn't see SmackDown last night, like I said, I watched it this morning. I just finished it like an hour ago, or a half hour ago, or something like that. But John Cena had a segment with Cody, like I think it was right at the beginning of the show. And John said Cody was right. And the real, which is babyface John Cena, is back. And as much as I would love to see babyface John Cena again, I like John Cena either way, but obviously my personal favorite John Cena is babyface John Cena. But I'm not buying it. I think he might be faking it. I can see him faking it up until the end of the match tomorrow night, where he will once again hit Cody Rhodes where the sun don't shine, as I like to say it, and turn heel again. So, like I said, I don't buy it. I'm not buying it. Who knows? He might actually be a face and finish the rest of his title run and what's left of his retirement tour as a face. But yeah, honestly, I'm not buying it. So, I would love it, but like I said, I'm not buying it. But yeah, that is it for my predictions. If you guys enjoyed, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you would like to see more content from me. And I will see you guys next week for my SummerSlam results. Also, I don't know if I said this in my last video or not, but I don't think I'm going to bother with I'm still going to do my book hauls, obviously, every month. But I'm not going to do, like, my February, March, well, up until July book hauls, because there's a lot of books that I have to show and way too many that I have to go through. And I literally have to go through each book and put them in separate bags, like, for February, March, April, May, up until July. But since July just ended, I will do my July one, probably the week after next week. So in 2 weeks, I'm going to do no, it's not. My SummerSlam results will be next week. And then the week after that will be my what I got for my 23rd birthday video, because my birthday is in 2 weeks. So, but yeah, after that, I don't think there's any WWE shows on after my birthday. I think the next WWE show after this weekend is on August 31st. I can't remember which one it is. But yeah, sometime this month, I think the week after my birthday, I will be doing my July book haul. But yeah, I will see you guys next week for my SummerSlam results. Bye, guys.